The dust storms on Mars had finally settled, revealing what Dr. Isabella Martinez had suspected all along. The massive structure before her wasn't natural, its geometric precision and metallic sheen defied any explanation of random geological formation. As she stood in her environmental suit, the setting sun cast long shadows across the Martian landscape, highlighting the angular edges of what appeared to be an entrance. "Command, are you seeing this?" Isabella's voice crackled through the comm system. Behind her, the research base's lights flickered to life as night approached. "Affirmative, Doctor. The satellite imagery is clear now," responded Commander James Richardson from the Mars Research Station Alpha. "Those patterns, they're definitely not random." The discovery had come after 3 years of methodical exploration and ground-penetrating radar surveys. What had initially appeared to be an ordinary Martian mesa had revealed itself to be something far more extraordinary, a structure that predated known human civilization by millions of years. As Isabella approached the entrance, her handheld scanner detected energy signatures unlike anything in their database. The readings were off the charts, yet somehow familiar. The structure's surface bore inscriptions that seemed to shift and change as she examined them, as if responding to her presence. "This is remarkable," Professor Hitoshi Tanaka's voice joined the communication channel from Earth. "The patterns match fragments we've discovered in ancient sites across Earth. But these are complete." Before Isabella could respond, a low hum emanated from the structure. Lines of light began tracing through the inscriptions, forming intricate patterns that pulsed with an inner glow. The entrance, dormant for millennia, slowly began to open. Meanwhile, in high orbit above Mars, First Officer Nathan Williams aboard the ISS Mars Observer spotted something unusual on his sensors. "Command, we're picking up multiple objects entering the solar system. They're decelerating, and they're massive." The objects, 7 in total, moved with precise coordination. Their arrival couldn't be coincidental, not with the activation of the Martian structure. As Earth's most powerful telescopes focused on the incoming vessels, the truth became clear: humanity was about to have its first contact with an alien civilization. Admiral Laura Chen, speaking from UN Space Command Headquarters in Geneva, addressed the global emergency session. "Ladies and gentlemen, we are facing a situation unprecedented in human history. But these visitors will find that humanity is not as primitive as they might expect." What the approaching alien fleet couldn't know, was that their arrival had triggered something deep within the human collective unconscious. Across Earth, similar structures hidden beneath ocean floors and mountain ranges had begun to stir. The Martian discovery was just the beginning. The alien ships, sleek and imposing, took up position around Mars. Their design spoke of advanced technology, but there was something oddly familiar about their architecture. It echoed the very structure Isabella had just discovered, but newer, almost derivative. A transmission reached Earth's communications arrays, broadcast simultaneously in every known human language: "We come seeking the architects. Our records indicate this system as their last known location. We mean no harm to the indigenous species present." Isabella's hand trembled as she reached out to touch the glowing inscriptions. The moment her fingers made contact, information flooded her mind: images, knowledge, understanding. The structure wasn't just a building, it was a key to humanity's true heritage. "Command," she whispered, her voice filled with awe and revelation, "I know what we are. I know who built this." She paused, letting the weight of her discovery sink in. "We did. Humanity. We were the architects all along." The aliens had indeed found the architects they were looking for, but not as ancient ruins or remnants. They had found their descendants, a species on the cusp of remembering its former glory. As the structure continued to awaken, more facilities across Mars flickered to life, each one a piece of humanity's forgotten legacy. In orbit, the alien vessels maintained their position, unaware that they were about to witness the reawakening of the very civilization they had spent millennia searching for. Humanity's time of revelation had arrived, and with it, the understanding that they were never meant to be just another primitive species taking its first steps into space. They were coming home to the stars that had always been theirs. High Admiral Zarax of the Confederation stood before the holographic display of Earth, his crystalline appendages reflecting the blue glow of the planet below. The delegation's flagship hung in geosynchronous orbit, a testament to 10,000 years of technological advancement since the disappearance of the architects. These humans, he addressed the Council's representatives gathered on the bridge, they occupy the cradle of our greatest teachers, yet show no sign of understanding its significance. His voice carried the distinctive harmonic resonance of his species. Behind him, senior archaeologist Naira Th manipulated the controls, zooming in on various human settlements. Their civilization bears striking similarities to early architect installations, but surely that's mere coincidence. They've barely mastered basic space travel. The Confederation's arrival had thrown Earth into a state of controlled chaos. Despite the human surprisingly composed response to first contact, Zarax saw only a young species struggling to comprehend the galaxy's vastness. How wrong he was. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Riya Patel sat in the cockpit of the deep-sea research vessel Nautilus, watching ancient machinery spring to life around her. Similar reports were coming in from the Mariana Trench, the Antarctic ice shelf, and deep within the Amazon rainforest. Humanity's forgotten technology was awakening. The genetic markers are unmistakable, Riya spoke into her recorder as bioluminescent displays flickered around her. We didn't evolve from primitive ancestors. We devolved. Deliberately. The question is, why? Above, Zarax's delegation had begun their formal assessment of Earth's civilization. Their ships deployed automated probes, each one designed to analyze human technology and cultural development. But every probe that ventured too close to the newly activated site simply disappeared. Impossible, Naira Th muttered, reviewing the data. These energy signatures, they're identical to architect quantum matrices. But more advanced than anything in our records. In Geneva, the United Nations Security Council convened an emergency session. Admiral Laura Chen presented the latest findings from sites worldwide. The genetic activation sequence is spreading, she explained, her voice steady despite the implications. It's as if our DNA itself is remembering. The transformation was subtle at first. Humans near the activated sites reported enhanced cognitive abilities, access to knowledge they never learned. The collective unconscious that Carl Jung had theorized wasn't just a psychological construct, it was a backup system, waiting to be restored. Zarax noticed the change too late. His probes hadn't disappeared, they'd been absorbed, analyzed, and improved upon within hours. Human scientists were now casually discussing concepts that had taken the Confederation millennia to grasp. High Admiral, his second-in-command interrupted his contemplation, we're detecting massive energy buildups across the planet's surface. They're creating quantum fields that surpass our strongest containment systems. In the Himalayas, another facility had awakened. Dr. Marcus Singh stood before a holographic display that made the Confederation's technology look primitive. The information flooding his enhanced consciousness told him exactly what he was seeing, a star map of humanity's former empire. We didn't just explore the galaxy, he whispered to his research team. We shepherded it. Guided younger species. Taught them. Protected them. He turned to face them, his eyes glowing with restored knowledge. And when a great threat approached, we didn't run. We hidden ourselves away, seeded our civilizations among the stars, and waited. The Confederation ships in orbit suddenly found themselves surrounded by defense systems that had remained dormant for millions of years. Networks of satellites previously invisible to their sensors revealed themselves, their capabilities far beyond anything Zarax had encountered. Humanity hadn't needed to develop space travel, they had chosen to forget it. Every fumbling step, every seeming technological breakthrough, had been part of a carefully orchestrated journey of rediscovery. And now, faced with the return of their students, the teachers were awakening. Zarax received a transmission from Earth. The sender identified herself as Dr. Isabella Martinez, speaking from Mars. "We remember you," she said, her voice carrying the weight of restored memories. "We watched your civilizations grow, guided your development from afar. And now, after all this time, you've returned home." The High Admiral realized, with growing awe and trepidation, that what they had mistaken for primitive descendants were in fact the very beings they had spent millennia searching for. The architects hadn't vanished, they had hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to remember who they truly were. Beneath the lunar surface, in chambers untouched for millions of years, the Guardians stirred. Dr. Kenzo Yamamoto watched in awe as massive humanoid forms, each standing 30 meters tall, powered up their ancient systems. The lunar base, disguised as natural formations, had been humanity's last line of defense. "Quantum core initialization complete," announced the base's AI, its voice resonating through Kenzo's enhanced consciousness. Guardian Battalion Helios standing by. Earth's transformation accelerated. The awakening of human genetic memory had reached a critical point, and with it came the understanding of why they had hidden themselves. The threat that had forced humanity to conceal its true nature was returning. In orbit, High Admiral Zarax received an urgent transmission from the edge of the solar system. "Multiple quantum ruptures detected," his sensor officer reported. "Energy signatures match, they match the ancient enemy's ships." The Confederation fleet had remained in Earth's orbit, now understanding their role not as evaluators but as witnesses to the return of their ancient teachers. What they hadn't expected was to be present for the very conflict that had forced the architects, humanity, into hiding. Dr. Isabella Martinez, her consciousness now fully awakened to humanity's true history, accessed the Mars facility's central archive. The images it showed confirmed their worst fears. "They're called the Void Hunters," she transmitted to Earth Command. "They don't conquer or destroy. They consume. Turn entire civilizations into fuel for their endless expansion." The Void Hunters had nearly consumed the galaxy millions of years ago. Humanity, at the height of its power, had faced them in a war that reshaped entire galactic arms. Victory had seemed impossible until they discovered the Hunters' weakness: they could only track and consume active civilizations. Those that appeared primitive were ignored. "Our ancestors made the ultimate sacrifice," Admiral Laura Chen addressed the United Nations. "They didn't just hide their technology. They rewrote their own genetic code, forced themselves to forget, to evolve backwards. All to protect not just humanity, but all the younger races we had sworn to guide." In the Himalayan facility, Dr. Marcus Singh activated the planetary defense grid. Ancient satellites, hidden in dimensional pockets, emerged into real space. The technology that had taken the Confederation millennia to partially understand was simply the discarded remnants of humanity's attempts to appear primitive. The Void Hunters' advanced ships entered the solar system, their massive forms blotting out the stars. They were living ships, an amalgamation of all the civilizations they had consumed. Their presence triggered the final phase of humanity's reawakening. On the Moon, the Guardian Battalion Helios launched. Massive humanoid forms, each powered by the quantum knowledge of 1,000,000 years, rose from the lunar surface. They were humanity's ultimate weapons, created not just with technology but with the very essence of human consciousness. "We hid ourselves," Kenzo transmitted as he merged his consciousness with his Guardian unit, not out of fear, but to prepare. Every step of human history, every war, every triumph, every technological breakthrough, it was all preparation for this moment. The Confederation ships watched in awe as humanity's true power revealed itself. The seemingly primitive species they had come to evaluate was transforming before their eyes into something far beyond their comprehension. From the Pacific depths, Atlantic trenches, and Arctic ice, more Guardians emerged. Each carried within it the combined knowledge and power of the civilization that had once shepherded the galaxy. The ancient defense networks, hidden in plain sight for millions of years, came online. Dr. Riya Patel, now stationed at the Pacific Command Node, understood the full scope of their ancestors' plan. We didn't just hide our technology, she realized. We evolved our minds to be ready for this moment. Every human conflict, every struggle for survival, it was all training for the real war to come. The Void Hunters approached, their living ships extending tendrils of dark energy across space. They sought to consume, as they always had. But this time, humanity was ready. This time, they wouldn't face the enemy at the height of their original power, they would face them with power tempered by millions of years of calculated evolution. The battle for not just Earth, but the entire galaxy, was about to begin. And humanity, the forgotten teachers of the stars, would remember not just who they were, but who they had become. The first wave of Void Hunters struck with devastating force. Their living ships, each the size of a small moon, unleashed tendrils of dark energy that threatened to tear reality apart. But humanity was ready. The Guardian Battalion Helios moved with impossible grace, their quantum shields deflecting attacks that could have shattered planets. Dr. Kenzo Yamamoto, his consciousness fully merged with his Guardian unit, led the counterattack. The enhanced human minds controlling the ancient war machines operated on levels that even the Confederation's most advanced AI couldn't comprehend. Every movement was precise, every strike calculated across multiple dimensions. From her command center in the Mariana Trench, Dr. Riya Patel accessed the full archives of humanity's first war with the Void Hunters. They're not just consuming civilizations, she transmitted to the Unified Earth Command. They're searching for something. Something we hid from them. The truth lay scattered across 1,000,000 years of careful planning. Humanity hadn't just been hiding, they had been guarding the key to universal creation itself. The Void Hunters were remnants of the universe's previous iteration, seeking to prevent the birth of the next. High Admiral Zarax watched from his flagship as reality itself seemed to bend around the battlefield. The human guardians weren't just fighting, they were rewriting the laws of physics with each engagement. Now we understand, he transmitted to his fleet. We didn't evolve naturally. We were shaped, guided, prepared, not as servants, but as inheritors. In the Mars facility, Dr. Isabella Martinez accessed the final encrypted archives. The knowledge flooding her enhanced mind revealed the full scope of humanity's master plan. The architects, our ancestors, didn't just guide younger races, she realized. They were preparing an army. Every civilization they uplifted was designed to play a specific role in this moment. The Confederation fleet, understanding their true purpose at last, moved into formation alongside the Guardians. Their ships, reverse-engineered from ancient human technology, were compatible with the quantum defense grid. 10,000 years of development had inadvertently prepared them for this very battle. Dr. Marcus Singh, directing operations from the Himalayan facility, activated the final phase of the planetary defense system. The Earth itself, he announced, was terraformed. Not just for human habitation, but as a weapon of last resort. The Void Hunters pressed their attack, their living ships merging into ever larger forms. They had consumed countless civilizations, absorbed infinite knowledge, but they had never encountered anything like this. The humans they had expected to easily devour were instead wielding power that predated the universe itself. Admiral Laura Chen, her genetic memories now fully restored, understood the terrible choice their ancestors had faced. They could have fought, she transmitted to all forces, but victory would have meant the destruction of all creation. Instead, they chose to hide, to forget, to ensure that when the final battle came, we would fight it not just with power, but with wisdom. The Guardians began to synchronize their quantum fields, creating patterns of energy that stretched across the solar system. Each human pilot contributed not just their skill but their very consciousness to a growing network of power. The Void Hunters, sensing the building energy, launched their full assault. What they didn't understand was that humanity's apparent regression had been carefully engineered. Every war, every struggle, every triumph over adversity had strengthened not just their bodies and minds, but their very souls. The power they wielded now wasn't just technological, it was the combined will of a species that had spent millions of years preparing for this moment. As the battle reached its crescendo, the true nature of humanity's plan began to unfold. The seemingly primitive Earth, the forgotten technologies, the guided evolution of younger races, it was all part of a universe-spanning strategy that had taken millions of years to reach fruition. The Void Hunters had come seeking to consume a young civilization. Instead, they had walked into a trap millions of years in the making, faced with not just humanity's ancient power, but the strength forged through their long journey of redemption and rediscovery. The solar system became a battlefield of impossible scale. Guardian units danced between dimensions, their quantum fields rippling with power accumulated through eons of waiting. The Void Hunters' massive forms twisted space itself, their hunger threatening to devour everything humanity had preserved. Dr. Kenzo Yamamoto, leading the Guardian Battalion Helios, initiated the final protocol. All units, synchronize consciousness, he commanded. The source protocol is online. The ancient weapons weren't just machines, they were conduits for humanity's collective will. Across Earth, billions of awakened human minds joined the neural network. Each person's consciousness, shaped by millions of years of carefully guided evolution, contributed to a power greater than anything the universe had seen. The Void Hunters sensed the building energy and recoiled. Now we understand the true purpose, Dr. Riya Patel broadcast from the Pacific Command node. Our ancestors didn't just hide their technology. They distributed it across every human soul, encoded it in our very being. We are the weapon they created. The Confederation fleet, led by High Admiral Zarax, moved into precise formation around Earth. Their ships, unknowingly designed to resonate with human quantum fields, completed a pattern millions of years in the making. Every civilization humanity had guided had played its part in creating this moment. Dr. Isabella Martinez, channeling power through the Mars facility, accessed the final command codes. The source protocol isn't just a weapon, she realized. It's a key to rewriting the fundamental laws of reality. Our ancestors found a way to defeat the Void Hunters without destroying creation itself. The Void Hunters launched their desperate final assault. Their living ships merged into a singular entity of impossible scale, a being of pure entropy seeking to unmake everything. But they had fundamentally misunderstood their opponent's true nature. Humanity hadn't hidden their power, they had transformed it. Every struggle, every triumph, every moment of human history had refined their strength. The primitive species the hunters sought to devour had become something far more dangerous, beings who understood the true cost of power. Admiral Laura Chen gave the final command. Initiate source protocol. All units, all souls, synchronize. The Guardian units moved in perfect harmony, their quantum fields merging with the collective consciousness of humanity. The Confederation ships pulsed with energy they were always meant to channel. Dr. Marcus Singh, monitoring from the Himalayan facility, watched as reality itself began to shift. The protocol isn't destroying them, he transmitted. It's offering them a choice, the same choice our ancestors made. To fall back, to begin again, to learn to create rather than consume. The Void Hunters, faced with power beyond their comprehension, experienced something new, understanding. The beings they had dismissed as prey showed them visions of a different path, one where consumption could be transformed into creation. In that moment, humanity's true victory was revealed. They hadn't prepared for millions of years just to win a war, but to end the cycle of destruction itself. The Source Protocol offered redemption not just to humanity, but to their ancient enemy. The battle ended not with destruction, but with transformation. The Void Hunters, their hunger finally understood and addressed, began to change. The power that humanity had hidden within their own evolution offered a way to convert entropy into creation. As the quantum fields settled and the Guardian units stood down, Earth's awakened civilization faced a new dawn. They had reclaimed their legacy not to rule, but to guide, just as they always had. The younger races, including the Confederation, understood at last the true depth of their teacher's wisdom. Dr. Kenzo Yamamoto, descending from his guardian unit, smiled at the transformed solar system. Our ancestors didn't just give us power, he said. They gave us the wisdom to use it right. And now, we can truly begin our work again. The stars beckoned, not as conquest but as possibility. Humanity had awakened not to dominate, but to shepherd, to continue the work their ancestors had begun. The great cycle hadn't ended, it had transformed, just as they had. The next chapter of galactic history could finally begin.